They shot me. They shot me. Those were the last words nearly 80,000 people heard from Jesus Sarmiento. He was 25 years old, a programmer, a cybersecurity analyst. And for months, he had been doing something that would get most people killed in Venezuela. He was naming names, gang leaders, corrupt cops, the invisible hand that controlled his city. On June 22nd, 2025, while streaming live on TikTok, two armed men broke into his home. His followers watched in real time as gunshots rang out, as his voice faded, as the screen went dark. But here's what makes this story truly terrifying. He knew they were coming, he begged for help, and no one came. Maracay, Venezuela, population 1.2 million. Known for beautiful colonial architecture, beaches nearby, and one other thing. It's the birthplace of the most dangerous gang in the Western Hemisphere. Gabriel Jesus Sarmiento grew up here. By day, he worked as a programmer and cybersecurity analyst, someone who understood how information flows, how systems work, how secrets hide in plain sight. But his real work happened at night, on TikTok, where he built a following of nearly 80,000 people by doing something no one else dared to do. He exposed the people who ran his city from the shadows. And here's the thing about Jesus. He wasn't making vague accusations. He posted photos of gang members. He shared their real names. He showed videos of police officers he claimed were on criminal payrolls. Most dangerously, he talked about a man named Niño Guerrero. Remember that name, because the United States government is offering $5 million for information leading to his arrest. And Jesus Sarmiento was calling him out by name. On TikTok, to 80,000 followers. You see where this is going. But before we get to how Jesus died, you need to understand what he was fighting against. Because this isn't just a story about a gang. This is a story about a prison that became a kingdom, a criminal empire that built a zoo behind bars, and a government that let it all happen. Tocaron Prison, Aragua State, Venezuela, early 2010s. Venezuela's prison system was a nightmare. Overcrowded, underfunded, ungovernable. So the government made a deal with the devil. They let the most powerful inmates, called pranes, run things from the inside. Keep order, and we won't interfere. One prisoner took that deal and built an empire. His name was Hector Rustenford Guerrero Flores, but everyone called him Niño Guerrero, the boy. Under his control, Tocaron Prison became something that sounds like fiction. Inside those walls, the gang constructed a swimming pool, a nightclub, multiple restaurants and bars, a playground, a baseball stadium, and a zoo with exotic animals. This wasn't a prison anymore. This was headquarters. But here's where it gets darker. They also built a network of tunnels, 5 kilometers long, stretching all the way to a lake. These tunnels had ventilation systems, electric lighting, concrete walls, escape boats waiting at the end, all built under the noses of the military guards who surrounded the facility, or maybe with their help. The gang called themselves Tren de Aragua, the Train of Aragua. And like a train, they didn't stop at one station. Starting around 2014, Venezuela's economy collapsed. Hyperinflation destroyed the currency. Food disappeared from shelves. 8 million people fled the country, one of the largest refugee crises in modern history. Tren de Aragua saw opportunity in the chaos. They recruited from the desperate migrants. They established criminal cells in Colombia, then Peru, then Chile. Their business portfolio expanded. Drug trafficking, human smuggling, kidnapping, extortion, sex trafficking, illegal gold mining, and assassinations. Very public ones. In 2024, a former Venezuelan army officer named Ronald Ojeda fled to Chile after speaking out against the government. He thought he was safe. Then men dressed as Chilean police officers showed up at his apartment. Days later, his body was found stuffed in a suitcase and buried in cement. The suspects? Tren de Aragua. Today, the U.S. government has designated them a foreign terrorist organization. They operate in at least 10 countries. The bounties on their leaders total over $12 million. And for years, the Venezuelan government did nothing to stop them. Some say they helped them grow. In September 2023, the Venezuelan government finally acted. 11,000 soldiers and police stormed Tocaron prison. They called it Operation Cacique Guaycaipuro Liberation. Tanks rolled in, helicopters circled overhead. The government declared total victory. There was just one problem. The gang's leadership had vanished days before the raid. According to investigators, Niño Guerrero himself negotiated the terms of the operation with government officials. He knew exactly when they were coming, and he walked out through those tunnels before a single soldier stepped inside. But here's the most insane part. To this day, the Venezuelan government claims Tren de Aragua doesn't exist anymore. Their official position? The gang is a fiction created by international media. A fiction. Tell that to the people still being extorted in Maracay. Tell that to the sex trafficking victims in Chile. Tell that to the families of the dead. Tell that to Jesus Sarmiento, who was murdered for saying what everyone knew, but no one would admit. He called out the lie, and they silenced him for it. Now we come back to Jesus Sarmiento. By 2025, he had spent months exposing what the government denied. His TikTok was a database of accusations, photos of gang members, videos of corrupt police, names and faces of people who operated above the law. And they noticed, in one of his final videos, Sarmiento said this: "I have people who belong to the motorized brigade of the Aragua police, and they are commenting through police groups that they are organizing to bury me. These practices have been carried out against me for a while now." He wasn't being paranoid. Police officers were openly coordinating his murder in group chats, and he knew it. Sarmiento went into hiding. He moved between locations. He stopped going out in public, but he kept posting. He kept naming names. In his final days, he did something desperate. He recorded a video asking Venezuela's intelligence services for protection. He shared his exact address publicly, begging someone, anyone, to help him. "The only thing I want is a better Aragua for everyone. I need to make the culprits pay. They are freely walking the streets while I am in hiding. That seems absurd to me." No one came. June 22, 2025, a residence in Maracay, Venezuela. Jesus Sarmiento was staying there with his mother. That evening, he went live on TikTok like he always did. Thousands of people were watching, and then the sound started. Banging on a door, a woman screaming for help, gunshots. Viewers heard Sarmiento's voice one last time. "They shot me! They shot me!" Two armed men appeared briefly on camera. Blood was visible on the floor. Then the stream cut to black. Jesus Sarmiento was 25 years old. His mother was shot but survived. Nearly 80,000 followers had just watched a man die in real time. Within days, Venezuelan authorities announced an investigation. They issued arrest warrants for 3 men, Adrian Romero, the alleged gunman, along with Wilbert Gonzalez and Gerald Nieto. They arrested one woman, Perina Uribari, Romero's partner, and charged her with intentional homicide, criminal association, and terrorism. Terrorism. Think about that for a second. The same government that claims Tren de Aragua is a fiction just charged someone with terrorism for a murder connected to, what? A made-up gang? The story doesn't add up because it's not supposed to. The alleged gunman, Adrian Romero, is still on the run. Niño Guerrero, the leader Sarmiento called out by name, is still free, believed to be hiding somewhere in Colombia, and the $5 million reward for his capture, still unclaimed. Meanwhile, the people who could have protected Jesus Sarmiento, the intelligence services he begged for help, the police officers who coordinated threats against him, none of them have been investigated. Jesus Sarmiento believed that information could change things, that exposing corruption could make a difference, that naming the monsters would somehow make them less powerful. He was wrong. But maybe he wasn't wrong about everything. Because you're watching this right now. You know his name. You know their names. You know what happened in that prison. You know what the Venezuelan government denies. 80,000 people watched him die. But now millions more will hear his story. Niño Guerrero is still out there. So are his lieutenants. So are the corrupt cops who helped to plan this murder. But so is a $12 million bounty. So is an FBI investigation. So are journalists and activists who refuse to be silent. Jesus Sarmiento's final words were, "They shot me." But his real final message was everything he posted before that night. The names, the faces, the proof. He put it all online where they can never erase it. Some stories don't end when the person dies. Some stories are just getting started. Jesus Sarmiento was 25 years old. The alleged gunman, Adrian Romero, remains at large. The U.S. offers $12 million for Tren de Aragua's leaders.